Hello, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm just going to be going over Season 2 and the video that they released for it and everything that's changing and the big stuff. So, hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Jeff from the Overwatch team, here with another developer update. Today, we're going to be talking all about Season 2. So let's start with the things that I think matter the most to you guys. First off, skill rating. What we learned with Season 1 was that not every aspect of skill rating felt really good to most players. So one thing that we think we got wrong in Season 1 is that we chose a scale of 1 to 100 to represent skill rating. And this was wrong for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons was that when you went up or down, sometimes you went up or down a fraction of an amount. And it wasn't always clear to you how much you were going up or down or why you were going up and down. So that felt off and weird to people. The other thing was that the number itself is sort of ingrained in us. Like, for example, in our system, a person with a 60 skill rating is actually an amazing Overwatch player.
So you're saying that I'm a good player because I'm ranked 6, well, because I got ranked 69, I'll be considered a pretty good player. What I want to see is he said the top 6%. Top 6% with the new system, which is 1 to 5,000, probably will be in the diamond to master ranking. Because obviously with the new system, it goes bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, or platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster. So top 6 would most likely be in the master, grandmaster, and even probably diamond. The top 3%, or this top 3 ranks pretty much. Obviously that goes, so being a good player, it's going to show now, which is good.
If you had 60 skill rating, you were in the top 6% of all Overwatch players, but it didn't feel like that. We see that 60, and a lot of us go back to our old school days and go, oh, what did I get, a D on this? 60 is terrible, but in fact, 60 was an amazing skill rating. So what we're doing...
I could definitely agree to this because I was in the top 6, I was at 60 skill rating the whole season. I was I was rarely ever in the 50s, and I was usually always stuck in that 60 skill rating, 60 to 69 obviously, and it didn't feel anything. I got nothing from it. And something that I looked back to is back in beta, they were gonna have the master and grandmaster system in this 1 to 100 scale, but obviously they're bringing it back and making it better, because obviously he's going to say that they're getting rid of fractions. So now if after a game, it's going to go up numbers, whole numbers. So if you're at 479 and you win, it'll probably get you to 493. Or if you lose, it'll take you to 453. And this system is much better, and because fractions are very, very confusing when it comes to these ratings that the Overwatch team used with the previous patch.
We're also just trying to take the focus a little bit away from skill rating. We want skill rating to be that gauge of where you're at as a player. You know, how am I performing right now on any given night or during any given play session? But we don't want that number to be the thing that you associate with you as a competitive player more.
If you're playing Dota, having a 6,000 MMR or higher is considered really good, and people look at that, not only you, your opponents, and then also in CSGO, if they know that you're a silver, they obviously know that you're crap. But if you're a Nova, they say, okay, you're probably, you know the game well, and then if you're global elite, they know that you know what the fuck you're doing, you're not an idiot. And with this system, being a master and grandmaster is pretty much the same as in a Hearthstone being a legend player. But in Hearthstone, being a legend player doesn't mean fucking shit, because you could play shitty decks that all you do is you hit the face and do nothing else, which is, it's not fun. But with Overwatch, it's much more different, where if you're a good player, you are a good player. But usually, it's much harder to have a high skill rating if you're a good player, because the system looks at your overall team and how you're doing as a team, which is really dumb. There's no solo queue. If you solo queue and you have all gold medals and you were always on the objective and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, but your team loses, you lose as much as anyone else. As far as I know, the system was always as a team you lose or gain, and not one individual player loses or gains in their own different way. So I think hopefully with this new system, that solo play is much more encouraged instead of team play, because even if you're solo queue, you get queued up with people who are grouped up, which can really fuck things up. Because if the opposite team has a group of two or two groups of two, which has happened, and your team has no one in a group, it could be always much more harder to win because no one. Sometimes people don't want to use microphones, people don't want to do anything. So hopefully with the new system, solo queue is much more better.
There's almost this association of a player being a certain number, and we kind of want to disassociate that a little bit. We want you to realize that the skill rating is naturally going to go up or down as you're playing competitive matches. It's a very normal thing. The system is calibrating towards, where you are as a player. So what we've done is we've created tiers around the different skill ratings, and roughly they cover about 500 skill ratings. So for example, gold goes from 2,000 to 2,499, would represent a gold player. On average, playing at a gold skill level, and sometimes my skill rating goes up or down, but I generally think of myself as a gold player. Or when I see a silver player or a platinum player above me, I have a general idea of what their skill level is or how they should be playing the game. The cool part of the tiers that we're going to do is at certain tiers, we're not going to let you drop out of that tier. Except for the two highest tiers, which are Master and Grandmaster, all of the other tiers, once you achieve that tier for the season, you will remain in that tier for the season. Even if your skill rating drops below where that tier, what you initially had to do to enter that tier. We feel like this will feel better for players. They'll know that they're a gold player, and if their skill rating dropped into that silver range, they'll.
Okay, there he clarified that a silver player won't be higher than gold. And then another thing is, unlike Hearthstone, when in Hearthstone, if you become a legend player, you stay a legend for the rest of the season. While here, if I become a master or grandmaster, I could drop below back to platinum or master if I was grandmaster. And what this means is multiple things, because if you end the season as a grandmaster, you're going to have the highest rewards, because that obviously end of season rewards is something that's coming up, and we're going to see what exactly we get. But if you're a grandmaster, probably if you end the season being a grandmaster, you'll get probably a guaranteed golden weapon that you don't have. It's my guess. And then obviously master, probably a higher chance than a platinum. And then much more competitive points too is on the side of that. What it means here is, so platinum being, or diamond being the third highest rank, once you become diamond, you know that at the end of the season you are guaranteed a diamond end of season rewards, which is really good. And I like that, because see, this makes there be two different things that you focus on when you're playing the game. When you're winning or losing, it doesn't matter, that okay, I don't really, it's like you achieve that gold or platinum or diamond, and then okay, I don't really have to worry about playing as much, because I'm going to keep the rewards that are associated with diamond or platinum, gold, silver, which is good. And then obviously skill rating probably will have less things to do in the game and be much less looked at, because if it's at 1 out of 5,000, it's hard to gauge usually. Obviously, the numbers are there. Probably 1 to 999 is probably gonna be bronze, because he said it ranges from that. But and also because of 7 tiers, obviously bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, grandmaster. That's 7. But obviously 7 times 5 is 35, and so that wouldn't range 3,500. So probably bronze is gonna cover a wide scope, or maybe grandmaster will have a wide scope too. But we'll have to see.
Get it back after a couple nights, or maybe they just need a week to get it back or whatever. But we don't want to have that debilitating feeling that players have when they lose something in the game. Right now, that we want to get rid of that feeling. And then you guys saw with the end of season rewards, we always do these based on high water marks. So your end of season rewards for competitive points will all be based on what tier you reached, however high you got in the tiers, the highest watermark. Speaking of competitive points, for reasons I'm going to get into soon, we've multiplied these all by 10, meaning you will get 10 times as many. If you have any banked right now, we're going to multiply those by 10. But the golden guns also cost 10 more. And I'll get into why we're doing that in a little bit. So
I too will get into that a little bit because it's kind of confusing of why you would do that. But I'll talk about it and it'll make a lot more sense than the way he describes it in the video. He doesn't really describe it very well, but I'll go into further detail.
So there's a lot of changes coming to the formats and the way that the game is played that are worth talking about. This is stuff based on your guys' feedback that we were listening to. We wanted to adjust how competitive felt in general. The number one piece of feedback that we received is that players don't like the coin toss. We don't like the coin toss either. The coin toss is going away. In fact, all of sudden death is going away.
He goes over this about sudden death going away for a very long time, but I'll just crunch it together. Pretty much ties are extremely rare because obviously if it came to sudden death, it was because it was a tie. Now ties they're changing the system and the times and everything, so it makes it so ties do happen, but probably 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 games that will happen. And also about the competitive points, because ties can happen, obviously they're not going to make it so both the teams are getting 1 competitive point. Obviously they're doing it times 10, so now you get 10 competitive points for a win. What a tie will most likely mean is both teams get 5 competitive points for the win, or maybe both of them get 10. And obviously that means the weapons cost now 3,000 instead of 300 because it's times 10. And a win gets you 10, and then a loss most likely will give you 5 instead of 0 as it is now. 1 win competitive is 1 point, and a loss gets you nothing. So with this new system, ties get you competitive points, wins get you obviously the most, and then losses will still give you. How much exactly, I'll have to go into further detail in another video. That's me concluding the whole getting rid of sudden death. Pretty much they're adding more time to certain maps, and then also, as it used to be, after you are below that 2-minute mark, and whatever time you have left, if it's 30 seconds, then after that 30 seconds is given to the opposite team, your enemy team, and then you're given only a total of 1 minute. So if you end the match at 1 second, it's going to bump you up to 1 whole minute, and then that 1 second that was left for you, that you guys had, is given to the opponent's team, so that the time doesn't just disappear pretty much, and gives the opposite team something out of them barely winning.
Aggressive with the time. We saw the capture times that you got.
Obviously, I just skimmed through that, and something that I forgot was on Skyler Industries, if there was like a couple seconds left, you obviously you didn't get any time to go to the next objective. So if it's on overtime and you're capturing the first objective, it gives you 30 seconds to go and try and capture the second one instead of just ending the match right away, which is also good.
There will be ties from now on. Ties should be very rare. But we think overall the time bank system coming to escort and payload will make those modes way more exciting and way more competitive. One concern that players had was that the whole competitive experience, like an entire match, might be too much time. So we looked for a lot of opportunities. For example, within Assemble Your Heroes, as one of the examples, for places where we could trim time. The initial Assemble Heroes time is what it's always been, but subsequent assemble your heroes, we've trimmed down that time quite a bit. I just want to address a couple other concerns that we'll be hitting with Season 2. We had some concerns about players grouping in widely disparate skill ratings, meaning you might have a level 40 player grouped with a level 70 player. I'm sorry, not level, skill rating. So we're addressing this problem. We're getting way more aggressive with how close you can be to one another. When it goes onto the PTR, in our new skill rating system, which is 1 through 1,000, you can only be within a skill rating of 500. We're going to see how players feel about this. If it's too aggressive, we'll loosen up on it a little bit. But you have to realize what we're fighting with here is the desire for people to play with their friends versus the unfairness of widely disparate skill ratings grouping with one another. So it's a tricky place for us to get to in terms of balance. We're hoping those of you who play on the PTR and group with friends kind of give us your feedback about what you think that right number is. That's something that's not terribly difficult for us to iterate on. So we'll be looking at that. The other thing that we'll be introducing with Season 2 was something that people were concerned about. This is only going to affect really the top-end players, but I know everybody was concerned about it, and that's skill rating decay. So if you are a master or grandmaster skill rating player, as well as diamond, you will now be subject to skill rating decay. And what that means is if you don't play competitive Overwatch for 7 days, you will lose 50 skill rating every 24 hours. And that has a floor. You will only go down to the bottom of diamond. It's not like you will drop all the way to the bottom of bronze. But we really want those top.
What he just said is the bottom of diamond. So if you're a Grandmaster and you don't play, like you hit Grandmaster and you just never play again, it's going to put you to diamond. And the reasoning because is behind that, and it doesn't just put you at the bottom of Grandmaster, is the rewards that you get. And obviously, if you reach diamond, you're guaranteed diamond no matter what. That's why they wouldn't go below diamond if you're a master or grandmaster. They don't want to give you the rewards for a master or grandmaster for you pretty much not playing the game for the next 2 months after you reach that. So that's pretty good. It's something that needed to be done. Obviously, 50 per 24 hours is not a lot, but over months, it definitely adds up.
Top end players to not just earn their spot and sit there for the rest of the season. We want them to be playing competitively and earning their spot. So they'll have to keep active in the system. It's not brutal. It's not like we're asking you to play 20 hours a day. We're just making sure that you're checking in with the system and still playing. So that
pretty much like dailies. It's like a daily chore, log in, do a match or 2 matches, and then log out. Which is, yeah. But obviously, within 24 hours. So if you play at 6 p.m., then the next time you play is 7 p.m. Well, there's gonna be a 50 skill rating decay, even though you did play the previous day. It's 24 hours, so you pretty much have to play every day. Well, 50 is not a lot. It just depends on what your skill rating is, and obviously if you are maybe bronze, silver, gold, like anything below diamond, it most probably won't matter for the most part, because obviously those people aren't gonna be hardcore players, and you'll know that you'll get your season end rewards, and there'll be no reason to play anymore. If you know that you're not gonna try and reach platinum or diamond, you'll know that you're safe and you're going to get your rewards, and you can just play quick play if that's your thing. But obviously if you're going to be a hardcore player like I'm going to be, and you're going to try and get that grandmaster or master, you're going to be playing every day and doing matches and making sure you don't inadvertently lose points for nothing.
That will happen. Also, for our top 500 players, we're going to require that you have at least 50 matches played. So you'll know if you see a player in the top 500 that there's somebody who hasn't just completed their placement and got really, really lucky, and the time had passed, so they happened to end up in the top 500.
What I could guess is the placement. Obviously, you have your 10 placement matches before you are given a ranking. What I'm guessing is for some miraculous reason, the system puts you in the top 500 right after that placement. So after your whole 10 matches, you automatically were put into the top 500. Obviously, top 500 is not Grandmaster. Top 500 is simply the top 500 of the players playing right now. Because to get Grandmaster, your skill rating has to be above 4,000 and up. Probably will be Master and Grandmaster. Obviously, being in the top 500 does not mean that you're a Grandmaster or Master. It just means that not that many people have been playing yet, since the season maybe just started, and somehow you win 10 matches extremely quickly before anyone else, and get your placement in the top 500 right off the bat. Which will mean if you are in the top 500, you have to play every single day. But it says right here, you need 50 matches won, so you cannot just do your 10 first placement matches and then get 500. I mean, the top 500. You have to play your 10 matches and then play even more. You have to play a lot to be in top 500. 50 matches.
End up in the top 500, that they're players who are really actively and aggressively playing competitive mode. There's way more changes than I just mentioned. There's a lot of details. We're working to make sure that the patch notes are as detailed as possible, and
So I'll go over the patch notes in a later video, but that's all for this video. It's some pretty big things that are being changed in what would be called 2.0, but Season 2. Season 2 has a lot of changes and it's fixing whatever fucking shit Season 1 was. They're fixing it. Props to them for listening to the community. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.